News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Oh, I forgot about my Ernest T. Bigot question. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Always trying to figure out, watching the games, what's a football move? What constitutes a football move?
Right.
Ernest T. Bigot's just asking. Pronouncing axe. Isn't that a football move? I'm just asking.
If it happens on the gridiron, yes, it is, absolutely. If it was on the sidelines, no, it's not.
Ernest T. Bigot's just asking.
His wife, Rachel.
Go ahead.
agrees.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure you've all heard by now, and Mike, you might have some insight. Australia is on fire. I mean, it is very, very much ablaze right now. And NPR reports that the government is offering new help to people who have lost their homes and others affected by the bushfires that have burned millions of acres of land, at least 25 people dead, brought historical levels of destruction. The fires, they say, will continue to burn for months, but the bushfires have exacted a staggering environmental toll as well. I mean, just wiped so much wildlife off the map. Meanwhile, a new $1.4 billion recovery fund has been created to help residents and businesses and farmers rebound from this loss. It's crazy. The Prime Minister has taken some heat to Scott Morrison for not acting fast enough. I think he had a little side trip to Hawaii when this was going on. But guess who is acting in the best interest?
Russell Crowe.
Yes, and also, because he didn't go to
Olivia Newton-John.
But also...
Michael Hutchins.
Yahoo! Seriously.
Seriously, the adverb.
Oh, what that guy's name is?
Yeah, Yahoo! Serious.
Yeah, Yahoo! Serious.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Oh no, Jocko. Oi. Sorry.
He's going to...
That's all my childhood, and that's all I got.
That's right.
Paul Hogan.
Actually, Bindi Irwin is doing a lot.
Bindi, yeah.
But that's not even who I'm talking about. News reports that the naked philanthropist will be sending out a lot of nude photos after she said she raised $700,000 for victims of Australia's bushfires. There she is. She's an LA model, Kaylin Ward. She urged Twitter followers Friday to donate to groups such as New South Wales Rural Fire Service, Victoria County Fire Authority, Red Cross, with a vow that for every $10 donation, she will send you a naked photo in your DMs. She understands more than most what it's like to flee a deadly fire. This is why she feels so close to it, because she had to escape the car fire in 2018 here in California. So at that point in the day, she was doing more, some say, than the Prime Minister of Australia.
She gets caught in a fire, her titties are going to melt. Yeah. I can't see them as being real. Or they'll burst and put them out. They're saline.
Oh, that's right. They're saline.
Right.
Sure. So it is scary.
I didn't even know about it until I was watching the Golden Globes and everyone was standing with Australia. I didn't know what that was.
And I could be wrong. I did not look this up. I just saw it on Twitter, so it's probably bullshit.
Just reported as news.
But yeah. I will say that somebody did put a map of Australia over a map of the United States, and it's virtually the same size. We think of it as this tiny island in the middle of nowhere. It is not a tiny island, and it is on fire. And again, Chris can look that up, but somebody said, please don't. These maps and these globes are not to scale. This is a huge country, and we are burning. So it's please support and donate if you're able, and you might get a nude picture.
I didn't even. God, when did the fire start?
In the last week.
No, they've been going on for a long time, but they've exploded in size.
Yeah. And there's
hitting,
the map.
Australia is huge, and there are a lot of semi or unpopulated areas, but now the fire's moving toward the people.
Right.
Hence and of course the animal disaster has been going on for a while.
Right. And we're looking at the superimposed map. It is virtually the size of the United States.
Well,
you can actually donate money to the Tasmania Volunteer Fire Department, because most of the fire departments there are volunteer and underfunded. And as a salute to Chuck Jones, I just like the idea of anything of Tasmania in it.
Right. So the Tasmanian devil.
By $100.
Look, we need him here, fighting the homeless situation. But should we send Gavin Newsom over there to mop it up?
We spare him?
We put those fires out, lickety split.
It's one of our precious entities.
Man of action.
Just handle it, man.
Yep.
I know it's a long trip, and the homeless population would spiral out of control with him not at the helm. But maybe we could just lend him out.
Yeah. For a weekend, a long weekend.
Just for a weekend.
Yeah.
Just go over there.
Tuesday, let's say.
Get it down to about 80% contained and then come back.
Right. Very
be great.
green, yeah.
Well, you did mention the Golden Globes, so we might as well just talk about some of the big winners. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a big winner at Sunday night's show. The movie won 3 awards: Best Motion Picture, musical or comedy category, Best Supporting Actor with Brad Pitt, Best Screenplay for Quentin Tarantino. Best Motion Picture Drama went to World War I's flick 1917. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet.
Yeah, it's really good.
I just saw it, yeah.
Sam Mendes for Best Director. Taron Egerton.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he won. He was great. Best actor for Rocketman.
Rocketman, yeah.
I was so pleased there wasn't like a Bohemian Rhapsody backlash, you know what I mean? Like another one of these.
That's funny, yeah, because Rami Malek won last year.
He's so great. Taron Egerton.
Joaquin Phoenix named Best Actor in a Drama for Joker. Renee Zellweger for Judy Garland in Judy. And a big deal, the Farewell star Awkwafina made history as the first Asian woman to win Best Actor in a musical or comedy, but your kids didn't notice she was Asian.
What's the big deal, they said?
Special honors to Tom Hanks for the Cecil B. DeMille Award, Ellen DeGeneres for the Carol Burnett Award, and of course, host Ricky Gervais didn't disappoint. He got his usual jabs in. Most people actually laughed, and I just pulled 2 minutes from the opening that was cut together by the Washington Post. It'll give you a sense of the jokes.
You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, 2 Popes. Shut up. I don't care. The Irishman was amazing. Long, but amazing. It wasn't the only epic movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him.
So funny joke.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. No. Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent. If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and
fuck off. Yeah, that's great.
So,
we love Ricky Gervais.
it's already 3 hours long.
He made it very clear this was his last time he was going to do this, so I think he wanted to leave it on the field.
God, I've always... Also, can we do this like the guy who played one of the popes had to sit there stone-faced when he was making a
Jonathan
joke?
Price.
Yeah.
Just laugh it up, would you?
Yeah,
I think that was shtick, don't you?
Oh, no.
Is he known for his...
No.
And I'm a huge Price fan, but it was a real test when you could see who had a sense of humor and who didn't.
You think that was shtick?
I think it was. I think they run the jokes by the people.
Really?
If they're making it...
No.
At the Golden Globes? I'm not saying the Oscars. I'm saying the Golden Globes.
By the butt of the joke?
Because you'll get a lot of... Hold on, even when Kimmel hosted, you got a lot of deadpan, actors hamming it up if a joke was made about them.
No, they're not hamming it up. They're there. They're having a negative reaction.
But I'm saying it's actors who are playing along.
When he's like,
and I think Jonathan Price is...
Yeah.
But some will deadpan it. Like Jonathan Price did.
I don't think that's what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
But to your point, or actually, I guess against your point.
He just looked like unamused by that joke.
Well, and he did say...
Well, I don't know. Let's take a look at it and see what it looks like.
Big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, 2 Popes. Shut up. I don't care.
Glenn Close is laughing.
She looks uncomfortable.
No, he doesn't.
No, he's doing the stone face.
I'm saying, I want to say to everyone, and they'll do it at tapings and stuff, like live tapings, like to an audience. You're on camera. You're going to on camera. They laugh, they smile it up or whatever. They're going to cut to you. Just paint the smile on, pretend you're down with the cause or the joke or whatever.
Right before the Golden Globes, they interviewed Ricky Gervais about his past appearances hosting, and one of the questions was, "Have you ever felt bad about a joke?" And the one that he picked out was, he said he felt really bad when Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were coming to present something together. It didn't matter who was coming out with Tom Hanks; it was just not Tom Hanks. And he said, between one of them is an Oscar winner, a blah blah blah, this, and the other one's Tim Allen. And he said, I always felt bad, for him taking that friendly fire, and I didn't mean anything by it. So it doesn't seem like they run the jokes past the people they're making fun of.
I've never. Do you disagree with that?
No. I the first time I'm considering it.
Oh, I've done a million forms of this, not the Golden Globes, but a million forms of roast and things that they never run it past anybody. They would never do that. They want you to. First off, it would screw everything up.
Yeah.
They'd beg them not to do it.
Leonardo DiCaprio go, I'm not showing up.
Right.
You pull that joke.
Even though
whoever would say
that joke was such a compliment to his Lothario.
No,
and he laughed too.
Yeah.
He played
he laughed,
it just right.
and he may not, but the other guy would, or this person would, or that person. The chick who had too much plastic surgery, and that was the joke, would never.
Yeah.
They'd squash all those jokes.
And you can tell what a club it is because the first joke, his icebreaker, was the Felicity Huffman license plate joke, and it just died in that room. I thought it was a great joke.
It's a great.
That's their buddy, their friend. They can't do it.
We're great. Yeah, you should have picked Lori Loughlin, and then people would have laughed.
Yeah, not their peer.
How about this change for the Golden Globes? Put the big stars in the back, because the big stars are up front, of course, but we have these interminable walks and we're giving out these, secondary awards, and it's like, okay, they got to make their way up front. It's like, no, we want to watch the star make the big walk up front. More camera time.
Well, that's the TV people back in the rafters. That's fair. There's a cast system.
That's what I'm saying. Switch it.
I know some insiders. I'm going to grab them and go all right, I got two ideas. One, we vet all the jokes. We vet every joke with every celebrity's there. They can even put a happy sticker by it or a sad sticker. If it's sad sticker, we go back to Gervais. We tell him we got to rewrite that joke. And not done. All the big names, the A-listers in the rafters. I mean, is there a kitchen back there? Whatever's further back than back. We put them all that. Put the no names up front. Okay.
As if cameras didn't exist.
Why are you not writing this down?
On roller skates too. I want to see that Brian Cox move. You guys should book.
Not the linebacker.
You should book John Max, who's written on all these shows. He was on that one last night. See if we'll do a little inside gab about how that all works.
I'd love it.
And before it goes down too far the rabbit hole, I'm not saying vet the jokes. I'm saying what I think happens is hey, there's going to be a joke involving you, and the camera's going to be on you, so be ready.
Oh, they should.
Because that'd be good production,
should
wouldn't it?
Coach them up. They just don't.
Okay.
They just don't. Yeah. Although there was, I forgot about this, but they do things like Caitlyn Jenner, who did the roast, the Alec Baldwin roast. They will say make as many dick off jokes as you want. Don't make any vehicular manslaughter, killing someone on PCH jokes. That she will leave if you make that joke. There are proclamations out front, and there is a little bit of the vetting stuff where the folks that are in charge of it will go that's too much, you cross the line. But on the other hand, a lot of it is based on the juice of the person that's delivering. So Ricky Gervais probably can pull out the trump card on a lot of stuff he wants to do. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned Leaving Neverland and the two men who accused Michael Jackson of molesting them as children in the documentary Leaving Neverland have been granted the right to sue for sexual abuse. So James Safechuck and Wade Robson had tried to sue the Jackson estate before, but their cases were thrown out because the statute of limitations was up. But now a new law that took effect on January 1st allows sexual abuse victims to sue until they're 40 years old. And a California appeals court has ruled...
Wait, you're at 41.
You okay?
Yeah.
The laws allow both Robson and Safechuck to have their cases tried. Of course, the estate has always denied the abuse allegations, but they're going to do it again.
Yeah, that's one of those things that makes sense because I don't know what it was before, but you get molested at 7, you go in the shame spiral, you cut on yourself in your early 20s, and at some point you get some therapy, and now you want to heal, and it's sorry, it's closed.
Yep.
Yeah, how many 8-year-olds run right to an attorney or to the feds or whoever when you're being molested? That's part of it. Yeah. So that's a good rule.
Well, this is a horrible segue, but the search for a young Michael Jackson on Broadway is on. MJ, the musical, will hold auditions in several cities for a young performer to play Michael at the age of 10. The candidates must possess singing and dancing chops and portray him at various stages of his life. Auditions will take place in D.C., Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New York, and L.A. Previews will begin in July. Still don't know how this is going to go over on Broadway. I mean, are you even allowed to go see a Michael Jackson show?
I don't know. We have a bizarre relationship with sort of disgraced celebrities. There's a Roman Polanski side of it, and there's a little bit of a Woody Allen. Like we do separate, others we don't separate. For some reason, we cut people a lot of slack. Again, if you can dance, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
I really, I had this conversation with Dr. Drew. We were we like to walk and talk. And he came over and we took a walk around the neighborhood. And I said, it's very interesting. So it's an interesting thing where we were talking about the black community, and I said, they are the taste makers. They're the taste makers. We want to do LeBron James, Obama's, all those, Oprah. You know what I mean? Oprah's a taste. Oprah's telling you, like, what book to...
The cultural beacon.
Right. Like, with that thing. And it's like, it's not so much with the Jews and the Asians and stuff like that. Sorry. But they're tastemakers. And you go, yeah, that's true. It's a small percentage of the populace who we've decided we're discriminating against, except for we listen to them all, like, what's our next move? Like, what do we like? What do we wear? What's cool, right? And he said, yeah, that's true. And we started to drill down on that. And I said, the reason that is because they do things better that we're attracted to innately. As animals, like we're attracted to. When you see Magic Johnson pushing that ball down the court and doing a no-look, whatever, we go, it's grace. It's beauty and grace, because we're attracted to movement. We're attracted to a movement. Now, the Jewish guy could work on the cello for 2,000 years and be amazing, but all Michael Jackson has to do is the moonwalk for 8 seconds, and we go, look at that. Yeah. Look at that guy. And then you go with a little Asian woman's banging away on the piano, and we go,
that's nice.
That's nice, but look what that guy just did. Or
he defied gravity.
Or we see that move. We all have it in our heads of we have Michael Jordan doing that move where he's going to dunk and then decides to lay it in at the last second or whatever. Goes there's a Dr. J one where he goes in for a reverse and does it, like these classic crazy moves, and we go, yeah. Now, when you see a guy drain a three, it's nice, but it's not that. Right. It's not a movement. It's not like a poetry and a movement, and we get sucked in. And so when you see, or play the jazz trumpet or whatever it is, that other person's like, oh, they've studied their Bach and all the classical, and that guy just picked up the trumpet, did a crazy thing we haven't seen before. We're attracted to a fluidity and like a movement and an improvisation.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, black community does it better than we do. They just do. And they move better. They're more physically, they seem to be more graceful or something. And so we're attracted to it. We're attracted to that move. So when Michael Jackson does something horrible, we go, but he can move. Yeah. Look at that movement. And when Al Franken does a zero burger, we go, get him out. He's out. Yep. He's no good. He's no good for anybody. So it's a weird sort of human thing, or Chris Brown or whatever.
It would take. I'm not the right person to have this to make this point, but as I understand it, but someone more educated than me can certainly do this. But that's cultural appropriation, right? Like that's like the black people, the black community is the tastemakers are the ones doing the crazy jazz and the donks and the moonwalks and all that stuff. And then when the white community adopts it, like, yeah, that's awesome. I want it's all the way up to the fucking Beatles, man. The Beatles wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Chuck Berry and Little Richard and all those guys.
For Elvis.
Speaking of Chuck Berry, he put a bunch of cameras in toilets.
He can move.
You see him do that?
Duck walk.
He does the duck walk. Come on now.
Well, that's kind of my point. I mean,
yeah.
Two sides of the same coin, I guess. I'm not educated enough to make that argument.
Well, no, but we were talking about from a pure sort of human base why did the black community become the taste makers? Why did we sort of look to them? Why? What it seems counterintuitive, because on one side we're talking about a racist society, on the other hand we're taking our cues.
Right.
And I realize I think some of it is a grace in a movement.
It's
and
interesting.
You take a look at the Jews and the Asians; they just don't move physically
as well.
quite as
a
well.
little clumsy, but mensch we are.
Yes.
So, speaking of tastemakers, TMZ reports that Antonio Brown has officially made his debut as a rapper known as AB. And his first music video is 2 minutes, showcasing his wealth and his jewelry and butt models.
What, is a rapper?
Yes, butt
Showing
models
off
as far
jewelry?
as the eye can see, yeah.
Patrons could have used a little AB.
It features duffel bags of money, his $200,000 diamond chain, a giant mansion. Here's a taste of what you can expect from the single.
See if he can move or not. Decide whether we can forgive him. Got a whole lot of money.
You're going to hear that phrase a few times.
Now tell me if this couldn't be on SNL or anyone on SNL couldn't parody this.
This is a Lonely
Feels like a
Island
parody so
joint.
far.
Yeah.
Walking on a table. Here's the sad thing about
Are
me
you done?
and rap in general. I can't tell you if this is bad. I can't say it's bad. I don't know.
I don't have a
I've
meter
heard
either.
enough DJ Khaled to
Another
know it
planet to
sounds
me.
passable to me.
We need Gary.
Gary will
Gary's
tell
got to
us.
weigh in. Mm-hmm. Well, a group of Delta Airlines flight attendants are suing Land's End because they say their uniforms are making them physically sick. The lawsuit, which was filed by 500 Delta employees, mostly flight attendants, some ground crew workers, claimed the uniforms cause rashes, fatigue, difficulty breathing. It includes test results that show the presence of formaldehyde and mercury in the material.
That would do it.
Yeah.
guess.
Delta claims it conducted its own tests, but they found them to be perfectly safe. Meanwhile, 2 years ago, 100 American Airlines employees did the same thing. That company eventually changed the uniforms. And I thought about this. I don't know if you ever saw the documentary Stink, Brian. It's
never
Stink
did.
with an exclamation point.
No.
It's basically this dad who kind of goes down this rabbit hole with buying his daughter's pajamas and how just toxic these, cheaply made
Really?
pajamas are.
yeah.
And they're highly
I can
flammable
see
and
that.
they make you sick. Yeah. So clothes can do it. Cheap clothes can do it, apparently.
I'll tell you this.
I'm not saying Land's End's cheap clothes. I'm just saying.
In support of the airlines, their pre-flight safety films are now award-winning.
productions.
They are productions.
That's right.
They
Big
used to
dance
be-
numbers.
Thank you, Virgin America.
Yeah, it used
that
to
was
just
the
be-
terrific one.
That was
that's
the gold standard.
That's right.
But they've all upped their game.
Yeah, arms race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Escalation ladder.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm glad they got rid of Delta Lena. Remember the spooky redhead? That was the first Delta. I'm on planes a lot, so I see these things like I'm stuck in, Guantanamo Bay watching the loop of the Iron Maiden video, whatever they do, or 12 hours straight. And I think some of them are good. Some of them are like the ad agency guys trying to be hip, and they're
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah,
but
but they're
Virgin, that was the good
still
one.
like a far cry from the fat pilot who's just
Yeah.
standing there talking. That we sort of grew up with, right?
Southwest is lagging behind in this respect because they still do the demo.
They do the demo, but they put their little jokes in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
fun.
American or whatever it was. I was like, how'd they pull that shot off? It was like 1917.
Oh, wow, really?
They're
Yeah.
doing
It was a
some
one-shot.
one shots with hands and the one, hands
Yeah,
as a
sure.
seatbelt and everything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that and the crazy stuff.
Like Goodfellas.
There's a great old one on the internet from some defunct airline, just audio, where they hired Foster Brooks, the guy who had the great drunk act.
Sure.
And they just actually do the pilot voiceover thing.
Oh,
I think
really?
it lasted like a week. Yeah, but I want to meet the guy who greenlit that because it was a wonderfully funny idea, but I'm sure 20% of the people went crazy.
Foster Brooks, you'll know from all the old Dean Martin roasts and
Okay.
stuff. And it was back when, as a comedian, you'd have a shtick. You'd have your thing. You know what I mean? And Foster Brooks' thing was being drunk. You guys don't remember Foster
No.
Brooks?
No.
Oh, he was great.
His whole thing. There was God, I'm trying to think of the guy who would just use the wrong words and mispronounce everything.
Oh, and Norm Crosby?
Norm
Malaprops?
Crosby.
Yeah,
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 Norm
it's a sturgeon.
Crosby.
Yeah.
You'd kind of have your own lane. You wouldn't be sort of, I'll do some of this and I'll do some of that. And some of them did. But I mean,
But you don't
Foster
act.
Brooks had a thing. You can find Foster Brooks, I don't know, Dean Martin roast or something, Max Zapata, and his whole. Now, you'll then picture him doing that as the voice of the pilot coming through the airplane.
Doesn't seem safe.
And you'll die.
Well, one of his signature
laughing.
bits was a pilot bit. And so some airline guy will try to tame it down a little bit. But I remember a friend of mine like 10 years ago sent me this thing. And it's funny. I mean, he had the best drunk bit in the world. It was all verbal, too. He could just kind of do the slur.
Yeah, and I don't. It was always. I mean, I never knew if he had a pop before the roast, or that was just him acting, and Dean Martin was the one who was drunk, or how it worked. Oh, we'll listen to it, and you'll.
As this boring bald buffoon just told you, I was Dean Scoutmaster in Ohio, in Stupidville. And I'm here at the MGM Grand Hotel tonight I'm here to salute. This bomb's passed. My bosom... My bosom swells with pride. Something Ruth Buzzy might even envy.
Ruth Buzzy. Oh, she's doing her own thing. All right, you got it. That was the shit. So you can imagine him as the pilot, now coming through the speakers of the airplane, right? All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.